T-test for correlated means.
Craig Lester Magallones,
Ashley Josh Lorana.
And Kathleen Castillo.
The key learnings. What is correlated t-test?
Steps in solving.
More examples.
What calculator do we recommend?
To determine whether the student's performance in College X will improve after enrolling in the subject for one semester, a 100-item pre-test and post-test were administered to them on the first day and last day of class. Have they learned something? Will their performance improve? Steps in solving. State the null hypothesis.
Set the alpha or the level of significance.
Compute the value of the statistics to be used.
Compute the degrees of freedom.
Find the tabular value using the table of values.
Compare the CV or the computed value to the TV or the tabular value.
State your decision. In the first step, state the null hypothesis.
This is the null hypothesis for example number 1.
There's no significant difference between pre-test and post-test. Step number 2. Set the alpha or the level of significance. Our alpha is equal to 0.05. Step number 3. Compute the value of the statistics to be used.
Find the difference between the pre-test and the post-test.
So, pre-test minus post-test. Square the difference. Formula in fighting for t is equal to summation of d over n divided by s sub d over square root of n. And finding the sd is equal to s sub d squared is equal to n multiplied by summation of d squared minus summation of d squared over n multiplied by n minus 1.
Where D is the difference between pre-test and post-test. N is the number of observations. S sub D is the standard deviation of the differences.
Note:
Correlated t-test is only applicable when comparing the results of pre-test and post-test administered to a group.
the test must be the same.
Now, use the formula to solve for t.
Add all numbers in column D and you will come up with 147.
Add all numbers in column D squared and you'll come up with 3031.
Then, apply the formulas.
Substitute. So, t is equal to 147 over 11 divided by s sub d over square root of 11.
You have to look for the value of SD first. S sub d squared is equal to 11 multiplied by 3031 minus 147 squared over 11 multiplied by 11 minus 1. The t then is equal to 4.29. Compute the degrees of freedom.
The formula for the degrees of freedom is df is equal to n minus 1. 11 minus 1, so df is equal to 10.
Using the df, we can find the tabular value. The tabular value is then equal to 1.812. Compare the computed value to the tabular value.
CV is equal to 4.29 while TV is equal to 1.812. Therefore, CV is greater than TV.
Then, you can now state your decision. The HO is rejected because CV is higher or greater than TV. There is a significant difference between pretest and post-test.
Tip: if CV is higher, reject the null hypothesis and accept the alternative hypothesis. If CV is lower, accept the null hypothesis.
Now, we have already accomplished the first and second bullet, which is knowing what is a correlated test and knowing how to solve for the correlated test. Next, we will go for more examples.
Example number 2.
To determine whether the student's performance in San Sebastian College will improve after enrolling in the subject for one semester, a 15-item pre-test and post-test were given to them on the first day and the last day of class. Will there be any difference on their performance? So this is the given for example number 2. Now, please solve for the D. Alas, the answers have appeared for D. Next, solve for D squared. Alas, the answers for D squared have appeared.
The null hypothesis for example number 2. There is no significant difference between pretest and post-test, and the alpha or the level of significance is equal to 5%.
Find the summation of D and D squared. The summation of D is equal to 42. The summation of D squared is equal to 170. Apply the formulas on what you have learned in the previous examples, then solve for SD, T, substitute, and finalize. Then, compute for the degrees of freedom. Decision. The HO is rejected because CV is higher than TV. There is no significant difference between the pre-test and post-test. For example number 3, to determine the before and after treatment of product Y, is it effective after treatment? Please solve D on your own. Yay, the answers have appeared. Please solve D squared on your own. The answers have appeared yet again. Did you get it right? For the null hypothesis of example number 3, there is no significant difference between the before treatment and after treatment. Alpha, or the level of significance, is equal to 5%.
Next, solve for the summation of D and D squared. Summation of D is equal to 78 and summation of D squared is equals to 770.
Apply the formulas that you have learned in the previous examples. Remember to solve the SD and the T. You also need to substitute, then finalize. Solve for the degrees of freedom. The answer for TV is equal to 1.812.
Decision. The HO is rejected because CV is higher than TV. There is no significant difference between the before treatment and after treatment.
Lastly, I'm going to talk to you about what calculator we recommend. We recommend the model, which is Casio FX-99ES Plus. First of all, it is easy to use. Second, it is reliable. Third, it has lots of functions. And lastly, it is worth its price. We have finished all our key learnings, and I hope that you learned everything that there is to learn in T-Test Correlated. The end. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and share.
Thank you.
Thank you.